Okay, so how can you manifest anything that you've ever wanted so fast that it feels illegal and people start questioning how you got to where you are? How can you manifest your dream reality? How can you manifest your career, your physique, your goal, whatever your goal is in this life? How can you manifest it so fast that people around you start feeling suspicious about what you're doing, kind of thing? So, the first step would be to identify and realize that this field of existence, this life that we're all living in, has three different planes of existence. Okay, so number one, the first plane of existence is going to be the spiritual field of existence, and you probably heard of something like that. Now, the spiritual field of existence is the consciousness. It's the spiritual consciousness that we all share. And what's interesting about this plane of existence is that we actually, all of us, we all share the same spiritual essence. We're all made of the same source. We're all the same being. We are all the same person in a sense on a spiritual level. It's like that's the source that is giving us life, all of us as human beings. Now, what changes us from one person to the next, what differentiates us is our physical form, is our body, is our mental field of existence, and our physical plane of existence, which I'm going to talk about next. Now, the second plane of existence is going to be our mental plane of existence. Okay, our mental plane of existence is going to be any thoughts that we have about our life, about our identity, about what we think our identity is. Okay, these are the thoughts that we think that create who we are as a person. This can be things like, maybe you were told to be quiet so much as a child so that you don't rock the boat and don't offend anybody. So be quiet, be quiet, be quiet is what you were told by your parents constantly, right? So that's how a lot of people grow up to be adults that are soft spoken and they don't really talk that much. Okay, because they started believing that on a mental state. They started believing that their identity is to be quiet, if that makes sense. So that's the mental plane of existence. Now, the third plane of existence is going to be the physical. And now that's everything you see on an external level, like your body, your hair, even your voice to an extent, and your clothes, this physical thing, this vehicle that carries the soul, that carries the essence. This is the third plane of existence, right? So understanding that there are three different planes of existence is the first step to be able to manifest whatever it is that you want to manifest. Okay, because only then will you be able to learn how to, optimize your physical form and your energy to be in alignment with the version of yourself that can manifest that dream reality that you want to create for yourself. Okay, so what does that mean exactly? What that means basically is it means that if you want to become the type of person that lives a certain lifestyle, the type of person that can run a certain business, the type of person that has the skill sets in order to, give this kind of value that you want to give to society in order to have the reality that you desire, whether it's, through music, through whatever, through business, through entrepreneurship, through anything. Entrepreneurship, I'm gonna say it again. And so what does that mean exactly? That means that you need to sit down with yourself and manifest that version of yourself. And then as soon as you create that avatar in your own head, you want to sit down and think about how does that person speak? How does that person walk? How does that person move and operate? What is his body language? What is his values? What kind of skill sets does he have? How does he communicate? What is his social skills, right? And then once you create that version of yourself that you want to be, the best version of yourself, that is when you start taking the steps every single day in order to become that person, to embody that version of yourself that already exists in your mental plane of existence. Okay, so I've created the version of myself that I want to be, right? Now, all I have to do is day by day, hour by hour, I'm gonna start letting go of parts of myself, personality wise, that are not what that person is, and creating the version of myself that I want to create. Start speaking the way that that person would speak. Start moving and operating and communicating. And my body language needs to start being the same way that I want that person to be. The kind of clothes I wear, the kind of people I hang out with and don't hang out with, the kind of food that that version of myself would put in his body or not put in his body. Okay, the habits. The habits is what matters. So I'm gonna start having and developing the habits that that person, that version of myself would have. Even though I'm not there yet. That's the catch, right? So I'm not there yet, but yet I'm still gonna have the same habits that that person, that version of myself would have. Like, I would wake up at the same time that he would wake up. I would do the things that he would do, even though I'm not that person yet. If that makes sense. And now what ends up happening is, as you do this slowly, day by day, before you know it, you become that person that is living the dream manifested reality that you've wanted to manifest. Before you know it, you're just gonna wake up one day and you're gonna look around and be like, okay, wow, this is it. We're here. We've arrived. We've arrived to the destination. It's like the same way, when you were a kid and you slept, you might have fell asleep in the car while your parents were driving you to a, road trip to visit the Grand Canyon, right? And then maybe you fall asleep along the way, and then all of a sudden you realize, you wake up and your mother wakes you up. You're like, okay, we're here. It's the same way. You start realizing, okay, whoa, damn, we're here. I'm here. This is the Grand Canyon. I was so excited to see the Grand Canyon. I'm here right now. I didn't really feel the journey that much because I was sleeping. It's the same way. So what I'm saying is, if you want to become the best version of yourself and manifest the reality that you desire, it's all internal. It's not external. It is not external. Like, you can't just create it out of thin air and have the manifested reality that you want while being the same version of yourself that currently exists. You need to get rid of that version of yourself that doesn't align with that reality. Okay, your habits shape your reality. We've all heard that one before, right? So if your habits right now are not in alignment with what your best version that you want to be is, then obviously, there's going to be friction, there's going to be disconnect, and it's just not going to happen. Okay, so it all starts within your heart. It all starts internally. And then once you change your internal state, your internal habits, your daily habits, the way you see the world, the way you communicate, the way you see yourself, then your reality changes as a result. And the way people see you is going to change. People see you how you see you. Okay? Because if I think of myself as, this weirdo, this loser, whatever, blah, 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 all these negative things, then oftentimes people are going to start seeing me that same exact way because I'm going to start acting that way. I'm going to manifest that into reality. I'm going to start walking with my head down and speaking with a pleasing tonality, with no confidence in my voice, blah, 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 mumbling, and then lacking eye contact. And as a result, people are going to view me the same way I view myself internally. But if I think of myself as this confident, assertive, good guy, well-rounded individual that is charismatic, that is intelligent, that is smart, whatever, that is competent, I'm going to start moving that way. It's going to show through the external. Since that's the internal, since that's how I see myself, then that's going to show on an external level. And as a result, people are going to respond to me how I view myself. They're gonna give me the respect. They're gonna give me the respect, and they're gonna take me seriously because I take myself seriously. So what I'm saying is, if you want to manifest anything, and I mean anything, if you want to manifest anything, then you gotta start thinking internally. You gotta start changing something about yourself on the inside. Nothing is external. This life is all spiritual. This life is all about the inside and what's happening on an internal level. Like nothing about life is external as much as you think. Like you see physical things, we see trees, we see cars, we see houses, we see human beings, but at the end of the day, like none of these things are real. This is all just the physical plane of existence. And it's like that's just the physical reality, but the real reality, the realest one out of all three of them is going to be the spiritual reality, which is something that we all share. We all are spiritual beings, everybody. That's one thing that we have in common. Every single human being, we are all spiritual beings that are made of the same form, the same essence, the same spiritual blueprint. We're all the same. Like I said, the only thing that differentiates us is our mental and our physical form, but we're all the same. And obviously our choices, some people make good choices, some people make bad choices, but that is also part of the mental. It's not part of the spiritual. The spiritual is the same. We're all the same source. We're all the same spirit. We're sharing the same spirit. We're all sharing the same spiritual field of existence. Okay, so this is how you manifest. So take this information and act accordingly. Do with it as you will. My job is just to give you this information so that you can learn how to manifest whatever it is that you want to manifest. It all starts in here, inside of you. It's not external, it's not physical. How do you feel about yourself? How do you think of the world? How do you see the world? That is what's going to change your reality. It's nothing outside of you. It's all inside of you, and it's always been inside of you.